This shit that ice cold, Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it.
Hi, Mrs. Gates.
Oh, hi, Miss Darcy.
I need to know, what do I need to know to prepare for this benchmark?
Oh, the benchmark is coming up. Well, as you know, we're treating it just like a real STAR day. So there's some things that we want to make sure we remember to do that we would do on a STAR day.
So tell me, what do I need to do with my classroom?
Well, one of the things we need to do is make sure that all the walls are covered with any material that might help the students on the test. A couple of other things you need to remember to do while you're giving the test is to make sure that your cell phone is off at all times. I would even put it in my desk, turned off, just to make sure that I'm not tempted to turn it on. Another thing you need to make sure is going on in your room is to make sure that your computer is off at all times during the test. So make sure you're prepared for that day that's coming up when you're not going to have any communication with the outside world for 4 hours.
Ooh, am I going to be okay?
I think so. I
Okay.
think you're going to make it.
Okay.
Don't forget, you have to be actively monitoring during the test. So make sure you're prepared for that.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, actively monitoring is when you're actively moving about the classroom, making sure that students are on task, taking the test, and making sure that they are focused and not using any kind of electronic devices during the test or talking to others. That means moving about the room, watching students take the test, but not looking at the test.
Not looking at the test.
No.
And then what do I do if one of them asks me for help?
Great question. Don't forget to always say, I can't help you with that. Just do the best you can.
So what do I do on the morning of the test? And like, what time do I need to get started?
Okay, well, the morning of the test, you need to make sure that you come to get your tub from the book room between 6:50 and 7:15. Let's go to the book room and ask Miss Carker what all is in your tub so that you're prepared for the morning of the test.
Okay.
Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name.
This is where I'll go to find my tub.
Hi, Miss Carker. Could you let Miss Darcy know what all it entails with the tub and what to pick up and what's going to be in there?
Sure. Miss Darcy, in your tub, you're going to have your books that you need to make sure that you count, and you should have 30, enough for each one of the students in your class. So it's your responsibility to make sure that you have 30 in your tub, because we all make mistakes. We're not perfect. Next, you're going to have a blue absent folder that if a student is absent, you need to take their Scantron and their book, and you need to put it inside the absent folder. We'll take care of that after testing is over. Next, you're going to have a help sign in your tub. Inside it is going to be one restroom pass. Ew, they're gross.
Ew.
Next, you're going to have a testing do not disturb sign. You need to make sure that you put that on your door.
I must put that on my door.
You do. So the next one is the cell phone and electronic device procedures. You need to read that to the students. All cell phones need to be turned off. If you have somewhere that you want to collect the cell phones during testing, that would be an idea.
That's a really
also.
good idea, right? To
Yes.
collect all the phones.
It is. Because if a cell phone rings during testing, then that's an infraction and we have to make note of that. So the next one is,
So on the back it says, oh, do's and don'ts.
yeah, you might want to go over that for the do's and don'ts, because there are some important things that you may not know that would answer any questions that you might just have.
Okay.
So, and then when your testing is complete, you want to put that on your door to let you know that testing is complete. If you need help, you can also just put this outside your door as a little tent, and the people that are monitoring in your hallway will come by and assist you with what you need.
Awesome.
Also in your tub, you're going to have a folder with your name on it. It's very important that you read the information on the front, because this is the way we expect you to return your tubs to us, because it makes it easier for us to put everything back.
There's an order.
There is an order, so you need to make sure that you have your completed seating chart, which is inside this folder. You need to make sure that you have the student's name, and you don't have to have their ID and their last name. And if there's a test booklet, usually on Benchmark there's not, but on the STAR there will be.
It's good practice for STAR.
Correct. There's also a different seating chart. If you would like to use this one, you can just put the squares and put where the student's sitting. And on the back side is where you'll put the student's name and the test booklet
So
number.
it's either or.
Either or. It's not both.
Okay.
And you'll have to do this each day of testing because we do take these away. Okay? So also in this little folder, you're going to have your roster. The white one will be the accommodation side. If any of your students have accommodations, you need to make note of that. Make sure that you understand that if they have extended testing or if they needs to stop for frequent breaks, you need to make sure that you make sure they have their accommodations. And then the next one you're going to have is a pink one. It will not have their accommodations on it. This is the attendance, and it must be out at 9 o'clock taped to your door. So take
9
attendance.
o'clock.
Yes. And all you need to do is if they're absent, just put an absent right beside it. That's all you have to do. The next one is going to be your benchmark checklist. Make sure you just kind of read over this prior to testing beginning. It'll give you some good do's and don'ts, some things that you need to do, things that you need to do when you turn your test tub in, and then you need to make sure that you sign this and put this back in your folder. There's also an orange piece of paper of students still testing. This is going to start at 10 o'clock, and we do it every 15 minutes. So
And I write on there how many kids are still taking their test.
Correct. So you'll just open your door quietly, write how many students are still taking the test, so we can kind of get an idea of how we're looking at the 11:45 ending time.
And like tape it on the outside of the door.
Correct.
Okay.
Tape it on the outside of the door.
One more thing.
One more thing, inside your folder is a sheet for a testing monitor sign in and out. Anytime you leave your room and somebody comes in, they need to sign in, and you need to make sure that you sign out so we can see who's been in your room monitoring the class while you're stepped out if you need assistance. All these things are going to be in your folder. Make sure you turn your booklets in by teacher order, and then make sure that your Scantrons are in alpha order.
Okay.
All right. If you have any other questions, find me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have one more question. What do I do after I turn my tub in and all my students are done testing?
That's a great question. After you turn your tub in, go back to your classroom and wait with your students until lunchtime. After the testing window is over, your students will go to lunch, and then they will be able to get out their cell phones and things like that. After lunch, they'll come back to your classroom until the end of the day where they can watch movies, read a book, or work on their devices.
So do I get to eat lunch?
Oh, yes. You can eat lunch whenever your students go to lunch.
Oh, good. So I won't go hungry.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, Mrs. Gates, for telling me all that stuff about how to be prepared for the benchmark.
You're so welcome. And if you have any more questions, you just come to my office and ask.
Too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah.